Okay, so then, all right. So I think then, like as men or maybe even women listening to this, you might think, okay, well then, all right. So if it's all this work, like you talked about the beauty, right? What's beautiful about it that makes the work worth it? You know what I mean? Like,
Man, because on the other side of hard is always beauty. Like I think that a lot of times people want love, but really, like, you really become more in love when you've been through some things.
that's right.
When you say, man, we didn't been through this, we didn't got through this, and we still here loving one another, because that initial love is just kind of like. And I'm not saying that every marriage is going to be like super, super difficult and you're going to want to leave. Like, I'm not saying that. Every marriage is different. And so I'm not trying to speak ignorantly for all marriages. But what I am saying is that when two people come together and they become married in close proximity, there is going to be friction at times. It's just natural, right? And it's just like, and so how you are willing to work through that love will determine how much you will grow in love together as time goes on. And so I think when you see people enter into marriages, I think you started to see that love like decline for one another because they came into marriages with all of these empty expectations and nobody really prepared them for the real. And so when stuff hits the fan, the world is broken, And so I just think that we have to prepare people better.
So then we have like, okay, so like these expectations, right? So like you have like we watch movies, like you see like the rom-coms, you see all these different things where it's like you can almost have like a Disney Channel perspective on marriage, right? Where it's
Yeah.
like, once I'm married, like, it's gonna be, like amazing. And like, I guess what I'm trying to get into, what are some moments, right, where like being married, where you really sat with yourself and you were like, wow, like, this marriage stuff, this marriage stuff this is really it. In comparison to like being single, there's that new girl feeling. When you single, you like, all right, just got the number.
When you say, wow, this is really it, are you talking about being good or difficult?
Being good. So,
Gotcha.
because you know what I mean, like, because like I know the dating, what good feels like. You know what I mean, where it's like, oh wow, we just got off a date, we really vibed, or you know what I mean.
So the first 2 years of marriage, we didn't like each other.
Whoa.
I'm just being honest. We didn't like each other.
But you gotta break that down because
We were friends for 3 years, and then me ignorantly believing that the transition from friendship to marriage was going to be just easy. And what I didn't was what I wasn't prepared for was her becoming guarded and shutting down with me. And so I think that we have to understand that women, we think that we know a woman, but a woman's love for us grows in stages. And so you think that your girlfriend loves you. Wait till you engage with her. Wait till you get engaged with her. Wait till you say I do. Watch what it does to her heart.
and you're saying it gets better, right?
It gets better, but I think that I wish churches will prepare men for different types of women, because my wife, her love for me grew, but also her guardedness for me grew because she was abused. And so because she was abused by man, like her love for me growing literally made her afraid of how much I can hurt her. And so she closed down because of it. She was like, no, I'm as closest to you as possible. I love you more. And now I feel the need to protect myself more because you can hurt me in ways that you couldn't hurt me when we were engaged or when we were dating. And so I wasn't prepared for that. And so she shut down. And so when we were dating, I would say, babe, let's sit down and talk. And, she'd be more willing. When we were married, let's sit down and talk. I don't want to talk. And so this friction started to happen. And so what happened was, when she began to reject me in those ways, I wasn't mature enough and humble enough to not be prideful. And so now I'm prideful because you're not letting me lead,
Yeah.
And so God was doing a work in her, but he was also trying to reveal something in my heart. And that is, I'm using this to teach you how to love sacrificially, to teach you how to love in a way that the world does not teach you how to love. And when you think about Ephesians 5, the scripture that I talked about, when it says, Christ loved, husbands, love your wife like Christ loved the church. Look at the way in which he loved the church. He loved the church before the church can love him back. And when the church has nothing to give him, he still loves. And so in the same way, Jesus was encouraging me. Your wife doesn't have anything to give you at the moment. And your wife cannot give you anything back. And so, can you love like me in this moment?
So I hear the maturity in that statement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I could definitely see myself going the prideful route that you said you might have gone initially.
Yeah.
But I guess so then what was in it for you during that time? Or if even for the both of you, if you both didn't like each other, what was keeping it even? You know what I mean? Like what?
We loved God and we loved each other.
Okay, so it was okay. Because
it's the difference between loving somebody and liking them.
That's facts.
You know, and a lot of times, this is a hard truth, but a lot of times we don't like somebody is because they're revealing something about us in our own heart. It's like we gotta be real about that. It's like no, like in a marriage, when it's how can I put this?
Break it down.
In a marriage, someone's sin. The hard thing about marriage is your spouse's sin will always expose yours, and so her selfishness might expose your pride.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And so and her pride might expose your selfishness.
No, yeah, and even in my relationship, I can relate with that. It's almost like a mirror to your faults. You know what I mean? And it's like you can choose to go low, or you can be like love like Christ loved the church. At least try.
Yeah. And you know what turned my marriage around was me stop being so pharisaical in my approach, like being like this Pharisee who just always caught up on a sin. And I was praying one day, and the Lord was like, whatever you want your wife to be in your marriage, you have to display. So if you want humility, display humility. Because if you don't display humility, you have no right to call her out on pride. And so if you don't display humility in those times when it's hard, you leave her with an excuse. And so it wasn't until I began to humble myself in the hardest of times where it created another mirror for herself and said, like, instead of like her being selfish or her being prideful, activating my pride and giving her a reason to continue in her pride. Like, okay, you mad, I'm mad, whatever. But it's like now when I'm humble, it's kind of like, dang, this man just keep humbling himself. And now, I gave her a mirror. And so I remember the day she was saying, I got tired of like you being the only one being godly and apologizing. And I was just like, I don't want to be scared anymore. I want to walk by faith. And so and we begin to grow. And then also what that did was, I think it gave her room to grow, because I wasn't over her trying to force her to grow. But my patience and my humility that I had to seek hard from the Lord allowed me to step back and allow her to see, man, this dude is being patient, he's being loving, and he's giving me the room to come out my shell.
Wow.
And then it just got better.
Honestly, like this is really feeling like therapy for me right now.
Yeah,
but okay, so then like what I'm also hearing is marriage being honestly an opportunity for you to really grow in your God, Jesus likeness.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And like, and that to me actually does sound like almost a perfect environment to do it, because I mean, you're living with that person.
It's the most perfect environment.
You know what I mean? And like you're good, and if you want like a happy home, you're forced to deal with yourself in so many different areas that you genuinely become a better person and a better man through the process.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that honestly, but that's a great thing though. Like I think if someone were to find a friend like you did, marry them, get like challenge themselves within it and grow, I can see the beauty in that, and that makes sense to me. Like that definitely makes sense to me.
Sure.
Although like I think the attractiveness of it is it is not as like appealing. It's more like I think but that's probably a good thing. You know what I mean? It's like more sobering if I'm thinking about it. Like, wait,
Yeah.
like, all right, like it's not like Disney Channel anymore. To be honest, I'm looking at it like, all right, like this is serious business.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You know what I mean?
It
It's a big thing.
Nah, for real, it is, man. It's a real big thing, and I think that I just want churches to prepare people better. You know, like literally, I think leaders have to prepare people to like, man, like really get to the nitty gritty of like, you know, what a woman or what a man has been through. It's like, how can we work through these things and prepare you? Because the thing about marriage, bro, you can never be fully prepared because what gets you prepared for marriage is actually doing it. But somebody cannot be prepared. You can never be fully prepared, but it is possible for you not to be ready.
All right, so there's just a few things on the preparation then, right? So like a couple of things, and maybe some of these aren't even biblical. They're just perspective things. How do you feel about like living with your partner before you're married? Like, do you think that's something that like you should do? No. Break it down. Why not? And before you do, is this Preston or is this Bible?
Man, I think this is a little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both. I think that so I think the Bible, when it talks about when a husband finds a wife, it says that that a man should leave his father and mother and go and cleave to his wife. And so when you study that, it literally means in the context of a union. And so it talks about when a man should leave his family that he kind of grew up with and to go and to, you know, to join this union. But I also think that it's a wisdom thing, because I think that when the Bible talks about guarding our hearts because it is the offspring of life, really what that means is like not putting yourself in a position to be tempted. That's all it means. And so like the Bible talks about can a man put fire in his bosom and not be burned?
I don't know too many men.
Huh?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you know. And so like a lot of these commands and a lot of these demands for Jesus is not him saying, because obeying Jesus is not just not sinning. It's listening to all the wisdom that he's giving you